Social media and websites might show you where you want to stay. Sales, they tell you when to book. But they rarely tell you where you actually are. I'm Megan, and yes, I talk about Sandals and Beaches resorts. The weekly sales, the promos worth booking, and the ones you can skip. Room categories, upgrades, insider tips, and how to actually get the best value for your vacation. But a resort doesn't exist in a vacuum. It sits on an island with a story, shaped by history, culture, food, people, and moments you'll never find on a booking page. On Islands Uncovered, we go beyond the resort gates. We talk about the islands and the people that Sandals and Beaches call home. The legends, the flavors, the unexpected stories hiding just beneath the surface. Because the best trips aren't just well priced, they're well understood. This is where smart booking meets storytelling. This is where vacations feel more meaningful. This is Islands Uncovered.
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan. I am the host of Islands Uncovered and the owner of Dare to Dream Travel, which exclusively sells Sandals and Beaches vacations. And every week we go through the weekly Sandals Sales Report where we talk about any new sales, the 777s, and then anything else of interest, updates on the resorts, etc. So today, there are no new sales. We are still running the Stay More, Save More sale for sandals. We talked about that last week, where the longer you stay, the more savings you get. But there are no booking perks like spa credits or resort credits with this. It is solely tied to a discount off the rooms. And then Beaches has the Fall Fam Jam sale still running. This is for vacations booked in the fall of this year, next year, or 2028. So you have options there to get inclusions, especially if you have little ones, for the character breakfast and the yoga with Elmo, which is always fun for the little kids. And then you also get a $175 spa credit with that as well. There's two beaches. If you go to Negril, if you stay 6 or more nights, you're going to get a free room as well. So those are all the sales that are still going on right now. Oh, and at Beaches, if you book over the summer, they are offering the $175 spa credit. So you can get a credit if you go to Beaches but that's only for this summer. So this summer, fall, or then the fall next year or the year after. The big sales, of course, are always the 777s, and these savings are 7 rooms that Sandals and Beaches put up every Wednesday that are an additional 7% off, and this can be stacked on top of the current Stay More, Save More sale and the current Fall Fam Jam sale that's going on right now. So these 7 rooms are the rooms that you particularly want to pay attention to this week. We're going to run through them. And then, since that is not going to take very long, I decided to also talk today about all of the different Butler rooms at Sandals St. Vincent. I have had a lot of inquiries lately about Sandals St. Vincent, a lot of honeymoon inquiries, a lot of people interested in Butler rooms. And I found that almost every week there's a Butler room at Sandals St. Vincent that's on 777, but it's always a different one. And there are so many small nuances between these different room categories that I thought I would just break it down to make it really easy to understand why you're seeing so many different names for all of these different Butler rooms at St. Vincent. But first, let's go through the 777s, just in case there's something particularly interesting on this list for you. There are 3 luxury rooms on the list this week. And if any of these rooms are of interest to you, you are going to want to make sure that you get your deposit down by next Tuesday. Please reach out. I can help you with that. I will make sure that you're getting the best rates and deals and understand everything about the resorts and these rooms and where they're at. But these rooms being on sale ends next Tuesday. So it goes through April 7th. Okay, let's dig in. So starting with the Butler rooms, we've got 2 this week. So last week we had a ton of Butler rooms, this week only 2. And as I mentioned, Sandals St. Vincent has a Butler room on the 777. This is going to be one of the more expensive Butler rooms. Any of the Butler rooms that you see that has a private pool with it, those are going to be more expensive than the ones that just have the patio tranquility soaking tub. We'll go through that after we go through the 777s. And then Antigua, we've started to see Antigua on the list quite a bit as well. They have a penthouse, one bedroom room, Butler category on the list this week as well. So Butler rooms, St. Vincent, Antigua. Then the middle tier is going to be that club level service. We are going back to Sandals Ochi, which repeatedly has a room on 7-7 every week or has for, the last, I don't know, 6 months or so. They're just kind of rotating the rooms there. This week, it's going to be one of the poolside club level rooms. So you have a semi-private pool. There's a couple other rooms that are around this pool that you share it with, but you do have a pool really close to your room that you can use if you'd like to. And then at Halcyon, that's in St. Lucia. It's the really small one in St. Lucia, club level swim up. So those are those mid-tier rooms this week, St. Lucia and Jamaica. And then I always find the luxury level category really exciting when it goes on 777. Not because I necessarily like to stay in the luxury rooms all the time. A lot of times we prefer that mid-tier, that club level. But if you are looking to get to Sandals on a little bit more of a budget, because it is a more expensive resort chain in general, the luxury level room category is always the least expensive rooms. And then if they put them on 777, that just means that you get an extra 7% off one of the lower cost rooms at the resort. So it's a great way to lock in a room and just get on the property because remember, at Sandals, no matter what room category you book, you still have access to all of the same restaurants and pools and beach. You don't you're not restricted. So that's a lot different than some other resorts where you have to book certain room categories to have access to certain things. So we've got the luxury level rooms. This week we have them in Curacao. So we've got the Subi Premium Room in Curacao. Curacao, the luxury level rooms, you guys, they're really nice. Any Sandals 2.0 property right now, that's Sandals Dunn's River in Jamaica, Curacao, and St. Vincent. The luxury level rooms are all very, very nice because these are brand new resorts. So Curacao, Subi Premium, luxury level. Then Sandals Barbados, they have a grand luxe walkout. There is going to be a little bit of construction happening at Sandals Barbados this summer. But the good thing is Sandals Barbados and Sandals Royal Barbados are right next door to each other. So you can, even if there's a little construction going on in one part and something closed, you have access to essentially two full resorts. So that's really nice. And the 777s go into the future. It's not just the immediate future like the last minute deals. And then lastly, we have the East Bay Lux Room at Sandals Royal Bahamian. So quick flight down to the Bahamas. Resort is about 15 minutes from the airport. Sandals Royal Bahamian has jumped up in price a little bit more than the other ones. And it's a smaller resort. It's nice. The East Bay has been updated more recently than the West Bay, so this is a good entry-level room to go on 777. It also has the private island that has the way more beachfront, just because the area by the main resort is a little bit smaller because it's a smaller resort. So you can go out to the private island, and there's a lot more beach on both the front and the back of it. It's also got a pool and a bar and a restaurant, so it just adds more real estate to that resort, but. Great room at Sandals Royal Bahamian if you're looking to stay somewhat close to the States. And then, yeah, so that's seven, two club, two butler, and three luxury rooms. Again, these rooms are only on sale through Tuesday, April 7th. So if you want to snatch one of these on sale, please reach out. Happy to help. My services are free. Okay. And then I thought maybe we would dig in this week a little bit to the Butler level rooms at Sandals St. Vincent. I've been to Sandals St. Vincent. It's probably my favorite resort right now, although a couple others are pretty high up there as well. And the Butler rooms have been getting a lot of attention lately. A lot of people, you're going to Sandals St. Vincent. It's a little bit more expensive than even some of the other properties because it's brand new. It's the newest in the brand and it's gorgeous. It's just a gorgeous resort. If you look on the map, you're going to see that all the Butler villas are on one side of the main pool with a few up in the front towards the water. And They have added the rondevals. The rondevals are set way back from the beach, very private, but not close to the beach. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at all these different room options. But if you're looking to book a butler room, there are a lot of different butler categories. There's actually 12, and then there's the over the water villas. I'm not really going to touch on the over the water villas today. I feel like that's something completely different. If you look at pictures, you're going to know right away what that is. They're out on the water. They are the premier rooms there. You're not going to miss them. But the butler level rooms, these 12 rooms, they vary in name just slightly. And I want you guys to understand the differences here. So you're going to start out, we're going to start going lowest to highest in cost. However, keep in mind that when these rooms are on sale, that order is going to shift a little bit. So you can't hold me to this if you're looking online and you're like, well, you said that this one was going to be less expensive. That's not always the case. I'm just saying in general. So, okay. So we've got two butler rooms that are villa rooms with patio tubs. So these are the most basic. We've got a garden villa butler room with a patio tub, and then we have a one bedroom garden villa with a patio tub. Those names sound very similar. The one bedroom is going to separate the bedroom from the living space a bit more, so you can close the doors and still have like the living space. And then just if it's just garden villa butler room, you look at pictures, you're going to see that the bed and the living area space is all in one area. And then you go out into on your patio and you have the patio tranquility soaking tub in the back there. So those are going to be the least expensive options. Now, you build on that. So then you build on that one bedroom garden with the patio tub. You still have the patio tub, you still have the one bedroom, but now they're adding a media room. So instead of just having a living space, it's going to be a larger media room with a bigger TV. If that doesn't really matter to you, get the cheaper room. That doesn't say media room, but okay, we've got that as an option. Um, we then are going to look at rooms that start to have, instead of the soaking tub in the back, they're now going to have a private pool in the back. These aren't huge pools, they're just little pools, but there's a bunch of rooms that have pools that have variances, kind of like what I just described. So first we have the Rondevals. The Rondevals have private pools. The Rondevals are, okay, you drive into Sandals St. Vincent and, at any Sandals resort, you're going to drive in and there's like a circular little driveway where they drop you off and that's the lobby. The Rondevals are behind the lobby. So further from the beach, behind the lobby. Reach out, I will send you a map. Some people love this because it's so private. Nobody really goes back there very much. Other people are like, ooh, I want to be closer to the beach. So pros and cons. The Rondevals are kind of cool. It's just different type of location. So we got the Rondevals, they have a private pool. But if we're talking about those villas again, you've got a Butler villa with the private pool. So this is comparable to the one bedroom garden villa with the patio tub. But if you add the private pool instead of the tub, it's more expensive. Then you go just from the Butler villa, you have a one bedroom Butler villa. So the difference there is between that separation between the bedroom and just having everything in one space. Then what do you guys think? You're going to get the one bedroom Butler villa with the pool. Now you got a media room in there. So this is all the same three types of rooms that we talked about initially, but instead of the tub, you have a pool. And if you have a pool, it's more expensive than the tub. There's also an upgraded Rondeval, not to make things confusing, but those are going to be called the Sky Villas. Those have the rooftop decks where you have the telescopes and you can view the stars. Super amazing. Okay, so those villas are all on the side of the main pool, opposite the big buildings. Differences are going to be between having everything in one room and one bedroom, having a media room, just a regular living room space, and then, of course, the patio compared to the pool. Now, we are going to move closer to the beach. So you've got this huge pool down the middle of the resort. And on the other side of that huge pool, between the pool and the beach, you have a few more Butler villas down there. So You have all of these have private pools. There's none just with tubs. If you're going down by, and the beachfront ones are more expensive than the other ones. So if you're going down by the beach, you're getting a pool. So we have the beachfront villa with the private pool. That's the most basic. Then we're going into the one bedroom beachfront villa with the private pool. Then, just like the others, you're adding the media room, one bedroom with the private pool. And what's really interesting is, and I think there's only one of these. So if you want it, you have to book this. I'm not kidding, like years in advance. It's a two-bedroom Butler villa with a private pool. So potentially two couples could stay in this together and have a shared living space. And you have two separate bedrooms. Two separate bedrooms, yeah, two separate bathrooms, shared living space, and then you share the pool and stuff and the butler service. But I think that would be so, so fun. But if you look online at availability, it books up super fast. So if you're interested in that and you're like, man, I really want to do that and I just don't know who I want to take, if there's availability, throw that frickin' refundable deposit down on that room and then, find your friends later. That's what I think. Okay. So yeah, it can be a little confusing. Sometimes it can be confusing even when I write it out for people. A lot of people are just the main things that they're looking for is if there is a tub or a pool. Most people aren't terribly concerned about the media room. Some people are a little, not concerned, that's the wrong word, but are a little, have preferences for having a separate bedroom. It can be nice if you wake up at a different time than your travel partner and then you still have the living room space. You're not all in one room. So those are all things to look out for when you are looking at the various butler rooms at Sandals St. Vincent. Again, if you need any help on this, if you want me to break it down for you more, if you want me to talk you through it, if you want me to go through and let you know just which one is the best deal at the time that you're looking, which ones are available, reach out. I am always happy to help. My services are 100% free to you. The cost of a travel advisor is already included in the price you're seeing online. So you're paying for help, whether you use it or not. And trust me, having a travel advisor listed on your reservation is going to help you tremendously, especially if something comes up and you need that help. So I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to helping you book at Sandals St. Vincent or any of the Sandals or Beaches properties. And stay tuned. Next week, I'm going to try to get out a little mini episode breaking down the resorts in Jamaica that are open right now. They are all very different from one another. And I thought I would just do a quick overview because the availability, it's not quite as high as normal since we had to shuffle some people around since the Sandals Montego Bay and Royal Caribbean and South Coast are not opening when they were scheduled to be open. They're not going to open now till the end of the year. So more people had to go into those other resorts. So if you're still looking to get into Jamaica this year, I'm going to break down for you the differences in the resorts that currently are open in Jamaica so that you can make the best choice for you. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in again, and I look forward to chatting with you next week.